Welcome to Alive and Thriving. My name is Jessica. I am your host, and I am so grateful to have you here today. Now, if you are new around here or you have just joined us in the last few episodes, you may not be aware that one of my favorite modalities, one of my qualifications, the very first one that I actually did in this holistic well-being space is EFT tapping. Now, EFT is not just something that I work with clients, but it is also something that completely transformed my quality of life. I will use tapping still in my day to day life, whether it be through processing emotion, whether it be through moving through navigating something stressful, or just a daily energetic refresh. I will find a way to use tapping. You drive past me, you might see me in the car just tapping on one of my spots. And I don't think I have spoken about it enough recently because it is such a powerful modality, such a powerful technique. And not just in the context of healing, but also in the context of personal and professional growth. And today, what I thought we would do is something a little bit different. I thought I would actually take you through creating your own EFT tapping script today so that you can take this tool. Because what I love so much about tapping is you can come and you can work with me as a practitioner. So, in my alternative therapy space, I work with tapping as one of my main modalities. And if you know me, I like to combine it, things like hypnotherapy and other modalities. But sometimes some sessions will just be tapping. And so you can come and you can work with a practitioner, and I can guide you, or your practitioner can guide you down a really deep dive into your body and into your energy and into your subconscious to help you bring safety to something that you are experiencing. And we can often do that quite quickly with tapping. But what I also love about tapping is that then you can take EFT and you can take the principles, the recipe, if you like, the structure of a clinical EFT sequence, and you can apply that into anything that you are experiencing in your world. And then what that means is that you get to self apply and self soothe with EFT. And that is just amazing. That is just so powerful. Something that I do with my private clients is we get Voxer between sessions. And so, for those who have a goal to be implementing new tools in their world, like tapping or meditation or other things, I actually get to help keep them accountable in their day to day life and help them form scripts in their own life day to day. Tap say maybe try saying this, dive deeper into this, use this point to support you. So, what I want to point out, first of all, is what we're going through today is going to be very much based on the structure of a clinical EFT sequence. So, clinical EFT, by the way, is emotional freedom techniques. Clinical EFT is the sequence of tapping points, so the meridians that surface close to our skin that we stimulate when we're tapping, it is the sequence of points that has been clinically studied for over 30 years, that has had over 100 research papers published showing its efficacy in areas such as PTSD, in areas such as anxiety, in areas such as academic performance, stress reduction. Tapping has been proven to lower cortisol in the body by up to 43% in just 1 hour. That's huge. That is absolutely huge. So when we're tapping, we are not just working with our mind and our thoughts, which is what we'll give a voice to in our clinical EFT sequence. But when we tap, we are stimulating these acupressure points, these meridians that surface close to our skin. These meridians run through your body. They run through all of your major organs. Meridians bring life force energy to the body. And so when we have emotional blockages on that energetic level, which, by the way, can contribute to filter into physical ailments for some people as well. When we're tapping, we are allowing that energy to flow freely. So again, we are looking at something that is causing us a disturbance in our mind and then bringing this disturbance into our body, say with our thoughts, for example, a story, something that doesn't feel good for us, but we are looking at it from a holistic perspective. All of our healing is holistic. We can't separate mind, body, energy. We can't separate it. Spirit, we can't separate it. And so, what I love about tapping is that it is somatic. So, it is bringing the body into your healing as well as working cognitively and energetically. It's so powerful. So, again, what I'm going to teach you today in terms of setting yourself up at home with a script to support you on a topic is going to be very much based on the clinical EFT sequence. And then we're going to dive a little bit deeper, still using those principles, but into the body. And I'm going to teach you what I would look at as the next step to really deeply cleanse and change what it is that you're experiencing. So I'm excited for this. This is such a powerful tool. And if you are tapping along with me today, or you are curious about tapping and thinking, gosh, what are all the things in my life I could apply tapping to? Things like releasing stress, rewiring stories that don't serve you. And again, this is personally, but this is also professionally. So tapping, if you have your own business, if you anywhere, but I love to talk about business. Tapping is going to be your number one support tool because we can release the stress that you're feeling day to day with it. We can rewire stories that are no longer serving you, stories around imposter syndrome, around money, around self belief, around worthiness, around quality of clients, around everything. And we can also release energy that you've taken on that's not yours with tapping. And we can move through those mindset blocks, those stories, but those mindset blocks that maybe you're not actually aware of what the story is. And I love that because you can do that with tapping without actually having to know the story. When we tap in a session, if we are working through trauma, then you actually don't need to tell me the story. There are ways that we can work with tapping that it doesn't need to be spoken about again. We can work with the body, with the discomfort. It's very powerful. And if you are tapping along today and you think, you know what, I really would love to do more of this in my life, maybe you want a little bit of support, maybe it's something that you would like to practice self soothing with, or elevate your emotional state with, or clear out misaligned beliefs, outdated beliefs that are not serving you anymore, or just generally manage your stress and improve your well being, then you probably don't know. But we have something called the tapping in a circle. And the tapping in a circle is a very special container that I have created for women just like you who want to stop living on autopilot, who want to create a life that is intentional, that is full of calm, that is more connected to joy because we're not living in this elevated emotions and elevated space of stress anymore. So, the tapping in a circle is a really unique container, and it is designed for women just like you who are seeking personal growth, who want to turn that personal growth into professional growth, who are seeking emotional well being through EFT tapping. It's very specific. We are tapping in this tapping circle. The tapping in a circle gives our members the opportunity to practice and explore deeper emotional freedom techniques, so EFT, in a really safe and inclusive and nurturing environment. So I lead most of our tapping circles. I would love to get some guests in as the year progresses. I do have some plans, but for now, you get me. You also get an online portal of resources that you can access either online or via an app that allows you to press play on audios of all sorts of different topics and tap regularly. Tap in a way that feels good for you, that on a topic that you need help with in that moment. Whether you are enhancing your mood, or whether you are elevating your energy, or whether you have an emotional challenge that you're wanting to work through, the tapping in a circle will have portal resources that you can access, as well as our monthly online circle experience. So, I would really encourage you, if you would like to explore tapping more, to go and have a look at our tapping circle. It is just $23 a month. And you can come in, you can try for a few months. You're not locked into any contracts or anything like that. Come and give it a go. Come and jump in to the tapping in a circle, because tapping is such a powerful modality. And I know, even for me as a practitioner, I will tap on my own, but I also love being guided, which is why I will listen to my own audios so I don't have to think about it. So you can include tapping in your daily well-being practice by coming and joining our tapping in a circle. I host a live circle once a month that you can also come along and join as a guest as well. So if you want to just dip your toe in, see if you like tapping, see how you feel after an hour of tapping, you can come along as a guest to a tapping circle, purchase a one-off ticket, get the replay to that one-off event. In the tapping in a circle, you actually get all of the replays of all of the tapping circles on all of the topics that we have done since August 2022. To give you a bit of an idea of some of the versatile topics that we have tapped on, and actually to tell you quickly, the script I'm going to guide you through today is a topic that is very common in my world, and that is imposter syndrome. And as we move through this script, you can insert your own topic. So you can create something that doesn't have to be imposter syndrome, but that's what I'm going to guide you through today. So we have tapped on topics like money mindset, finding balance in your life, creating balance in your life, I should say, holding boundaries, overcoming mental overwhelm. There is a full tapping circle on imposter syndrome, managing self doubt, working with your inner mean girl, increasing your financial abundance, calming anxiety, fear of success or failure. We have so many topics, as I said, dating all the way back to August 2022. And upcoming topics, we have things like supporting healthy eating choices as we look at nourishing you as a whole being, supporting your body to move, tapping for mindfulness, coming off autopilot. These are our upcoming topics if you join the tapping in a circle. Frustration of wanting to be further ahead on your journey than where you are, maybe your business journey, maybe your healing journey. Tapping into being into trust and tapping into letting go of a belief that I'm not good enough. These are all topics that we have coming up each month. So, yeah, if that sounds like something that you want to be a part of and something that's going to benefit you, then come and join our beautiful tapping circle.
You're listening to Alive and Thriving with Jessica Reed, the podcast that's all about empowering you to achieve optimal wellness and success through self-care, holistic practices, and raw conversations. Jessica and her expert guests are here to share powerful insights and strategies to help you overcome stress and anxiety, take charge of your life, and thrive in life and in business. Grab a cuppa and let's dive in.
So, let's create a script for yourself on the topic of imposter syndrome. Now, that is a very broad topic. Imposter syndrome can come at many different levels, and you have likely experienced it on some level. When we look at imposter syndrome, it generally refers to feelings of inadequacy or self doubt, even though there is evidence of success, even though you have this evidence of success. And whilst it is not classified really as a mental health disorder, it absolutely will impact your mental health and your performance. And so being able to recognize where you are maybe stepping into imposter syndrome is a really great place to start. So, we're going to start actually by bringing your awareness. And if you have a journal, you might like to do this, or if you're doing your process, you would start by bringing your awareness on getting clear on your story if you know what it is. If you know what your story is, maybe it is around perfectionism. Maybe you have a story around comparing. You're stuck in a comparison story. Everything she does seems to work out. Nothing I do works. That person started at the same time as me and they're so much further ahead than me. I post this and I get no likes, and that person posts this and they get this many likes, and I think it's the same. And why is it different? What's wrong with me? Or maybe your story with imposter syndrome is around discounting achievements. So, oh yeah, that only happened because it was just luck. I was just in the right place at the right time. I only got that promotion because I was in the right place at the right time. That client only signed with me because of some fluke that they decided to pay me what I charge. Getting really clear on your story. Maybe it's overachievement. Maybe we need to overachieve so that we are not seen as being incompetent. So we're not being caught out. Is sounding familiar? Hello, imposter. Maybe it's a fear of failure. Again, so that we are not seen to be a fraud. Or maybe it's self doubt. However, you are experiencing imposter syndrome, your first step in your tapping creation is going to be to get clear on your story. Get clear on what it is that you're tapping about. So, if you are using tapping, let's say you're using tapping in your daily world and you are coming in and you are really unfocused, you could also tap on being unfocused. But if you are looking to make a deep transformation, then I want you to get clear on your story. I want you to get clear on this script that has been playing over and over again. So that is going to be step one, getting clear on your story. Step two, you are going to rate your discomfort on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, 10 is going to be like, I completely and utterly have absolutely no belief in myself whatsoever. Can't even do this thing. Not even going to try. 1 is not so bothered by it. And the reason that we do this in clinical EFT is really to give you a bit of a gauge as to when you can stop tapping, because we want to be getting your discomfort down to 0 or a 1. So once you have gotten clear on your story, what we're tapping about today, you have then rated your discomfort. How intense is this imposter syndrome for you? How much discomfort do you get in your mind, in your body, when you think about stories of perfectionism or comparison or fear of failure, self doubt? And then we're going to actually start tapping. And what we do, our very first step is, and if you have no idea where these points are, by the way, and you're listening to this via audio, not on YouTube, obviously, YouTube, you can see me. Hello. If you are listening to this on audio, then I will link in the show notes a link to a tapping graphic so you can see where all of the points are. So we start by tapping on the side of our hand, and that is the squishy part runs down along the pinky finger. So as we tap on the side of our hand in clinical EFT, we say here what we call a statement of acceptance or a setup statement. Now, your setup statement is going to sound something like this. Even though I am scared I'm going to fail, I choose to accept myself anyway. And we're going to repeat that 3 times. You can keep this really simple. So it is giving a voice to how you're feeling. So even though I'm scared I'm going to fail, even though I don't believe I can do this, even though I don't think I earned that achievement, even though I'm comparing myself to other people, I love and accept myself anyway. And if you struggle to say I love and accept myself, then it is I accept how I feel. And the reason we say these setup statements is to, first of all, bring our awareness into what we're experiencing, but to meet it with compassion and to meet it with acceptance. Because if we cannot actually accept something that is happening to us, that we are experiencing, or that is happening for us, or that has happened in our past, then we are always meeting it with resistance. We have a whole episode on acceptance. Go and listen to that if you need to. But we need to be able to say, even though I have this feeling that is not good, or these thoughts that don't feel good for me, I'm still a good person. And this also helps us to detach ourselves from owning that as a part of our identity. So we observe it. So again, even though I have this fear of failure, even though I'm scared I'm going to fail, your words, here's where we get powerful. When you are tapping on your own, your words are the most powerful. I always say my clients in private sessions, if I say something that doesn't resonate, change it into your words. Your words are what's powerful here. So you're going to tap, and again, on either side of the body. If you're brand new to tapping, you can tap on either side of the body, and you are going to tap and repeat your setup statement 3 times. So even though I feel this fear that I'm going to fail, I love and accept myself anyway. Even though I have this fear that I'm going to fail, or even though I don't believe in myself, even though I'm scared, even though whatever your story is, your story, your words, but I accept myself anyway. And so we repeat that 3 times. Once you've done your setup statement, you're then going to move into what we call a reminder phrase. And when we are doing clinical EFT, we keep this reminder phrase really simple. The reminder phrase could be something along the lines of, what if I fail? It's just a reminder of what you are tapping on. It could be, I can't do this. It could be this fear of failure, this fear, this story that I'm not good enough. Whatever your story is, really simple, and it gets really repetitive. So you may have been to a tapping circle, or you may have listened to an audio, whether it be one of mine or whether it be, I don't know, on the tapping solution or something like that, where our words take you on a bit of a journey. And that's because our words are global. Because when we are in those audio settings, we are not in your mind. We are giving you a global experience. So now you get to get really specific if you want to actually really clear and move this issue through for you. So when we tap a reminder phrase, we start moving through the points on our body. So again, you can go to the link and download the tapping chart that shows the points. We start up on our eyebrow, which is just where the beginning of our brow bone is, right where the hair starts on either side of your nose. And on each spot, we're going to tap 7 to 10 times and repeat our reminder phrase. So for this purpose, I'm going to use the words, what if I fail? Or actually, let's say I feel like a fraud. That's a big one for a lot of people. I feel like a fraud. But you would use your words, and you would tap around your reminder phrase. So starting at your eyebrow, or you can start on the top of your head if you like. I like to round off with the crown. Up to you. So you're going to tap on your eyebrow, and then you're going to move to the side of your eye, on that bone on the side of your eye, and you're going to say your reminder phrase again. Feel like a fraud. Under your eye, I feel like a fraud. So we're just following that eye bone around. Under the nose, I feel like a fraud. Under the mouth, I feel like a fraud. Onto your collarbone, so coming down about an inch beneath where the two bones meet. Again, you can look at the diagram if you are listening to this audio. I feel like a fraud. You can tap on either side of your body. The meridians run down both sides. Coming under your arm, about 3 inches down from your armpit, right on that spleen meridian, helping us to digest life, digest emotions, digest thoughts, experiences. I feel like a fraud. A lot of people, some people feel uncomfortable in this point, and I understand. Particularly if you have a bigger bust, it can feel uncomfortable to get to that point. But that spleen meridian, even if you can follow it around and get it underneath that bust line, that is really important for digesting life and digesting emotions, and for balancing out the meridian that flows into that governs your fight or flight response. So we want to try and tap there if we can. And the final point in the center of your head at the very top, I feel like a fraud. So you can see how easily you've just set up an EFT tapping script. You're going to repeat that 3 times and then check in again, or maybe 3 to 5 rounds, full rounds, which is where we go right from our eyebrow all the way to the top of the head, back around. So you repeat this for 3 to 5 rounds, and then you're going to check in on your SUDS rating, your subjective units of distress, which was your 0 to 10. How intense is this still for you? Does it still hold the same emotional intensity, or has it gone down? Now, if we were continuing purely with the clinical EFT sequence, we would keep tapping on that reminder phrase. I'm going to help you go a little bit deeper because I can't help myself. Because this is the work that I love, to get deeper in beneath the surface. So, the next thing that we're going to do, the next step then to your clearing script to really clear this issue out for you, is going to be identifying, if you can, an emotion that is attached to this. So perhaps you have a fear of failure and you are experiencing anxiety. Perhaps you have a fear of being an imposter and you have some embarrassment attached to that. Shame. I want you to consider what emotion, or ask yourself, and you might like to use your journal again in this process. What emotion am I feeling? I'm scared I'm going to fail, and I feel what? I feel like an imposter, and I feel what? And if you do struggle to identify your emotions, then please reach out to me. Come onto Instagram. In my DMs, I have an emotion wheel, a PDF that I'll share with you. So come and say, hey, can I have the emotion wheel? I want to better understand my emotions. Because particularly if you've grown up in an environment where you weren't encouraged to feel your emotions, then you'd be surprised how many adults actually can't identify what it is that they're feeling. Or we stick to this base range of emotions, and this is basic ones that we identify with, but we don't go deeper. And so, yeah, we are identifying now the emotion that we're feeling. I feel like I'm going to fail and I feel sad. And then we're going to tap on that. We're going to come back and we're going to do, again, 3 to 5 rounds, keeping your language really simple. I feel sad. I feel sad. Or I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. And you're going to repeat that all the way around. Again, 3 to 5 times. I'm embarrassed. 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 And you will keep going 3 to 5 rounds. And then you're going to pause and you're going to check in again. 0 to 10. How intense is this story of imposter syndrome for you again? And then the final step that I'm going to take you through today to go deeper is to then feel where it lives in your body. So when you think about your story of imposter syndrome and the emotion that you are feeling associated with that, where do you feel it? Is it a tension across your shoulders? Is it a knot in your stomach? Is it a brain fog in your head? Where do you feel this emotion? Where does this story live in your body? And we're going to give a voice to that. And so that might sound like, as you tap, a simple reminder phrase of this knot in my stomach, or this fog in my head, or this tension across my shoulders. And just giving a voice to that as you tap around the body. Again, that is your reminder phrase now, where it lives in your body. And you're doing this again, 3 to 5 rounds, and then checking in. If you check in, I want you to see where you are at. If you are still above a 5, I want you to check on the emotion. Come back to the emotion. Has it changed? And keep going until you get it down to a 0 to 2. Once you have your discomfort with that story that I might fail, or what if I fail, or I feel like a fraud, or I don't believe I can do this. Once you have that down to a 0 or a 2, then you get to move on to the positive. Here is where people don't clear things out properly with EFT. They will tap a couple of times, they will feel discomfort in sitting in that space, in holding that space for themselves, because they're not used to experiencing emotion, they are used to suppressing it, and they will very quickly then move to the positive. Now, why do we focus on the negative? That is because we need to give it a voice. And because as we are tapping, as we are stimulating these acupressure points, we are sending a calming signal up to the amygdala. So, the amygdala is a part of your brain that will send off the signals to say, hey, the messages to say, hey, we are in danger. Let's activate our fight or flight response. Let's get this happening in the body. The amygdala also speaks the language of emotional association. So, if you have a story of imposter syndrome, if you have a story of being a fraud, and that is attached to a time that you gave a class presentation when you were 10 and you forgot your speech and someone made fun of you, and then you felt like a fraud or an imposter, that association is what is driving that emotion. And so when we tap and we are sending these calming signals up to the amygdala, we are saying this event, this story, this emotion that I am feeling is actually safe. And then the way that the hippocampus has processed and stored those memories, if you think about it like a big filing cabinet, those memories have been tagged with a label: embarrassment, fear, anxiety. When you can actually desensitize the emotional attachment to those issues, to those thoughts, to those memories, to the feeling in your body, then you are able to reprocess the way that it has initially been stored. And then maybe you might have the thought, oh, what if I fail? Or what if they think I'm a fraud? And notice that there is absolutely no emotional attachment associated with that anymore. And once you've done that, those are just empty words. You are just left with thought patterns that are habitually firing that don't cause an emotional reaction for you. And that's when we can truly then move on. It's not going to impact you. There is more and more research and more studies coming out around EFT that shows that once we effectively deal with something with tapping, it's not likely we'll have to deal with it again. And it's pretty powerful. So, once you have cleared out your discomfort, sat in that discomfort, also, by the way, tapping and showing your body that uncomfortable emotion that you usually would have suppressed and run away from is also safe to feel. That it's safe to feel that. You are showing your body that when you're tapping. Then you can move into the positive. So then you can create your script around an affirmation or a belief that you would like to install, something that is empowering, something that feels good for you, that is going to support you moving forward from that context of what you've just been tapping on. So that might be something like, I am unstoppable. I am fearless. I embody the magnetic energy of the woman who is already successful. I believe in myself. I can do this. I am doing this. So you move into your positives once you have cleared down your emotional distress. And that is how we get long-term effective rewiring. So let's quickly recap how you're going to set up your script. First things first, you're going to get clear on your story, what it is that we're actually tapping on. Remembering your words are the most powerful. Then you're going to rate your discomfort on a scale of 0 to 10. And then you're going to do your setup statement, your statement of acceptance. On the side of your hand, that is, even though I have this fear, even though I feel like a fraud, even though, insert your story, I love and accept myself anyway. Repeating that 3 times. Then you're going to move to your reminder phrase, your simple repeated phrase. I'm a fraud, I'm a fraud, I'm a fraud, I'm a fraud, whatever it is for you. I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. Repeating your phrase as you tap around your body. Doing that 3 to 5 rounds, 7 to 10 times on each spot. and then checking in on your scale of 0 to 10. Then we're going to identify the emotion. I feel worried. I feel scared. I feel anxious. I feel embarrassed. I feel shame. I feel out of control. I feel you need to insert your emotion. And again, five rounds or so, you'll just get a gist of when to stop. Don't worry if you do 6 or 4 or you'll know. Check in after I'd say around 5 rounds. Keep going if you need to. Okay. If you're not ready to move on to the emotion yet and you need more time on the story because it's still an 8 out of 10 for you, keep going. So, again, next layer, we're going into the emotion and we're going to tap. And then we're going to pause again, check in. Next layer, we are going to actually check in with your body. Where is this living? What do you feel? What is the discomfort? And you give a voice to that. It's a knot in my stomach. It's a tightness in my back. It's a pressure in my chest. It's a foggy in my head. You give a voice to that. And tap for another 5 rounds. Check in then again on where you are at. And if you have got your intensity down to a 0 to 1, then you have done enough tapping to move into your positive. Now, tapping at this level is going to help again to clear out what you have associated. If you know the story, if you know the root cause, the original event, then tapping on that is also going to be really powerful for you. And that could be something as simple as tapping and giving it a voice, telling your story as you tap, or just say the story, that time that I, or that time that they, whatever the story is. That is another layer that you can add in. Once we start working with the body, that knot in your stomach, you also have that association. Your body knows what that is about, what it has stored there. So, yes, you can go deeper and you can go into the story if you want to, absolutely. But you can also work in this place of trust with your body, knowing that as you tap and you give a voice and you start to move that energy around in as you bring focus to the area that has been storing this, that is also going to help to clear it out at that kind of level as well. Now your task is to go off and create your own tapping script. And maybe it's on imposter syndrome. Do you know we have a full imposter syndrome tapping circle in our replay vault, which is available in the Tapping in a Circle membership. So if you want to go and you want to join that membership and jump straight in and go and do the full hour of tapping, then you so can do that. Come, I will welcome you in there with open arms. But now you have a tool. You have a tool to create your own way to actually navigate these challenges that are coming up for you in a way that is going to be long lasting and deeply supportive and deeply healing for your mind and your body and your energy. So I hope that this episode has left you feeling empowered to know that you can take control of your thoughts and you can apply this from imposter syndrome to I feel stressed, to I'm anxious today, to I'm not thinking clearly, I have brain fog, I'm overwhelmed, I'm irritable, I just feel off today. You can take this script and take this process of starting with your story and that reminder phrase of the story, moving into what the emotion is, and then moving into where you feel it in your body before you go into your positives. You can take this and you can apply it to anything that you are doing, absolutely anything. And if you would like to be guided through audios, then again, the Tapping in a Circle is the place for you. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope you have the most amazing day. And I will see you guys next week.
Wow, what a journey it's been today. We are so grateful for each and every one of you who tuned in to Alive and Thriving. If you enjoyed this episode and want to help us keep growing, please consider subscribing and leaving a review on your favourite platform. It's a simple but powerful way to support a small business like ours to continue to make an impact.